What's up, guys and gals? This is Griever back here, bringing you guys the latest episode review of Dr. Stone. Okay, so I know this episode review is quite a bit late, but the Hurricane Dorian is kind of going to kick our ass here tomorrow and stuff like that, and we've been trying to prep and stuff like that for the last couple of days, so I got a little behind on my YouTube stuff, guys. Sorry about that. Thankfully, actually, this week, not only do we not have a One Piece chapter, which I never thought I'd be thankful for that, but we also do not have a Seven Deadly Sins chapter. So even if I lose power and all that stuff, I'm not going to be that far behind on my YouTube content. I will, of course, be scheduling some of my Let's Plays and older content along with this episode review and episode 10 review for later on in the weekend sort of idea. So, there'll still be enough content to keep the ball rolling sort of idea, even if I lose power for 3 or 4 days. That being said, here's the deal. This episode, we get I'm not a huge fan of the character. I mean, I understand what he does for the plot, and I don't mind him, but he's not someone that I would put up in one of my favorite characters or anything like that. Not alone in all time, but not even in this series. And that is, of course, Gen. Gen is a self-proclaimed mentalist. He's similar to that whole, like, the Lie to Me show or the Mentalist show sort of idea. He is someone who uses his words and his speech patterns and his little parlor tricks to basically get what he wants. He lies, he cheats, he steals to get the end result that he is most. And he's a bit of a coward, too. He's playing the fence game, because what we see in this episode is he shows up at the ramen shop, he eats some ramen. Senku automatically, he sees the mark and he knows, like, this guy, he's part of Tsukasa's kingdom. Everyone else, and Senku's like, yeah, whatever. Gen pretends outward that he's not part of it, blah, blah, blah. He's the first person who woke up, he found this place, blah, blah, blah. Of course, nobody really believes him, and then later on in the episode we see, because of course the ramen shop, so they were managing to make the iron and stuff, everyone who ate had to work sort of idea, so they managed to get the furnace, the Marin power, and they made it to get to the 1500 degrees clearly that they needed to make the iron bar. Now, Gen, there's this little subsection here where Gen and Senku have this really serious conversation about, here's the kingdom of might, here's the kingdom of science. Gen is supposed to report back to Tsukasa and basically say, what did you find? Did you find Senku or not? Because he needs to make 100% sure that Senku is dead. Gen even says, he goes, I'm basically playing the field right now. I'm a free agent. Football just started, guys, and actually in my pool I picked the Bears, but the Bears 1-40. First and 40. What are you going to do, Penalty. That's their own damn fault. But suffice to say, I know enough about, sports things to say free agent is something that you kind of want to pick up if they have any skill set. You need them on your team. If you can afford it, bring them over. You don't want the enemy to have a weapon on their side that you lack. And this is the case with Gen, because Senku even says, basically, it's like, I'm going to convince you that, because he's outright about it. He even says, like, look, as far as it goes right now, your Kingdom of Science ain't bad, but Tsukasa offers me more, pretty much. I have more chance of survival, better lifestyle, better everything with him. Not that your lifestyle is bad, but his is better. He's offering, basically, if you want to look at a free agent in sports, he's offering me more money for the same amount of work. So what do you think? And Senku basically brings up, like, well, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. Like, trust me, give me a few days, you'll be amazed. And everyone's like, you really want this guy on your team? He's like, no, I don't want him. So, like, we can't kill him because then Tsukasa will rush here thinking that I'm alive. We also can't send him back without convincing him that he needs to be a part of the Kingdom of Science. And Gen's the one who brings up, he goes, I've basically got a choice. I can go and report that you're alive, or I can go back and report that you are dead. Now, what you do in this next couple of days is basically what you got to do to convince me. And Senku, like, he's taking him up on the challenge, and Senku's like the one who basically suggests it. And I kind of like this dynamic, because Senku's like one to just grin it away and like, let's do this. Now, they want to harness, of course, they want to make a man-powered generator, basically the squirrel cage generator. That's a very classic It was used many, many times. It's still used in not the most modern electrical appliances and stuff, but the squirrel cage motors are still something, using induction is still something that is used. DC generators, for example, are still something that are technically in use. You can find them in older plants and stuff like that. And as an electrician, this stuff 10 billion% excites me. This is exhilarating, right? Because I understand the concepts of this maybe a little better than the average Joe, being an electrician and all. So this concept, I was like, how is he going to pull that off? And then I'm like, the copper, okay. Grind it down, wheel it about, make the magnets, all that stuff. Like, I get it. I get this stuff. And this technically would work. You know, I like it. The theory of it, anyways, would work. Put into practice, of course, it would probably take a lot longer. Of course, they're always time skipping in Dr. Stone the manga, and of course here in the anime, but they are constantly like time skipping. Like, it'd probably take a little more effort to do A, B, C, D steps, but you could do this, and I like this. This is why I really enjoy this manga and this anime series, is because of the science. The science behind it is fairly concrete for, I would even go as far as to say 95% and up. The theory anyway is there. Put into practice, yes, and later on in the manga you can argue a few things, but the core concepts and the theory behind it, the theoretical section, like what we say in the trades is, an engineer drew it, so it's got to fit. Now, we know, as a tradesman, I know very well that just because you draw it on a piece of paper does not mean that put into practice it will necessarily work the way they want. That's where guys like me come in. However, it doesn't mean that the engineer is wrong in that it will work. It's just the way it was drawn, put into practice, is usually the step that falters. So, but of course, Senku is a genius and that kind of stuff. So, I really enjoyed this. I like the episode. We do get a little thing with Magma here. He shows up and stuff is like, oh, kill them. They summon the anger of the gods because we get the lightning. Everyone's like, oh, a lightning storm. That's perfect. Isn't Senku? Senku's like, no, you idiots. We're not prepared for the lightning storm. We need to set up the rods. We need to create magnets, sort of idea. These polarized, because they made these big bars of iron to make these super magnets, but they need the lightning. And it's hilarious though, because Kinro's staff, or his spear, his golden spear, the thing that he still liked and he wasn't on their side sort of idea. You know, Kohaku, she takes it and stuff, and she's like, yeah, here, we got a spear now. Slam it into the ground, put the bar on it, and of course, lightning is attracted to tall things, but it's also attracted to the most conductive thing it can find. So that's why usually it will hit. That's why we put something that some people might not know, but on huge wind turbines and cell towers and things like that, and satellite dishes, you put a lightning arrestor over a certain amount of feet, depending on how far you go or a certain amount of stories you go. You put a lightning arrestor is what it's called, and that's meant to take the blow, because lightning, when it strikes, it won't look for that tall tree if there's something that's close in height that's magnetic. If it finds something metallic, it wants to go to the best conductor it can find. And generally speaking, iron's a much better conductor than wood, So, I mean, that's just what it boils down to. So, I enjoy this. I like this. So, poor Kinro's staff, it's totally, I keep saying it's his staff, his spear, his golden spear is shattered by this. But they do create the awesome polarized magnets, and they're strong as hell. So, they're going to make their generator with the copper and stuff. Now, they need to make these things. They need to, turn them at stuff. So Kinro and Ginro are kind of brought into the fold. And we see that Gen also uses his abilities. Once again, he turned Magma away. But now he's also going to convince Kinro and Ginro with the whole, we could probably repair silver and gold spears if we, created this wonderful sorcery called electricity. So he's already shown his value twice. Once to stop Magma from coming in and slaughtering everybody, or attempting to, and because we got Kohaku on our side, of course. And this is the second time where we see him convince Kinro and Ginro, two people, to work in unison to create the right friction amount to create the power generator. We see that he's made the Edison bulb. He's recreated something similar to the Edison bulb. That's what he's doing. He's like, are you afraid of the dark, Chrome? Because in my age, there was no afraid of the dark because we created light. Edison he conquered the night, is what he did. And he's not wrong. Like, you don't even think about the simplicity of that. Like, back then, that was the way. Yeah, we had candles and fires and stuff, you could keep them burning, but this was the constant. The original, like, light bulbs and lamps and stuff and lanterns, they were the way to, and even back even further, the oil lamp and stuff, that was a way to conquer night back then. That was a way to conquer the darkness. And you don't even think about that concept in our age because we have so much more. We have Edison bulbs. We have Edison bulbs to the point that people use them in restaurants and stuff or on decks and patios as this is vintage. This is something for aesthetics. Usually you don't sit back and appreciate that this was the original thing, And I mean, they're not true Edison bulbs anymore. You don't go out and buy a string of real Edison bulbs. You buy Edison style bulbs. And they have, of course, a filament that's similar to an LED sort of idea. But now we have fluorescent, we have LEDs, we have all these different ultraviolet. We have all these different methods to light places that we take for granted. And it's kind of cool. To me, anyways, the diodes and the LEDs and stuff, of course, an LED is a diode. But this concept to me is just very interesting. I really like this. And the music, the score going along with when he connects the two pieces and he's like shining the light and explaining about that and all the Edison and stuff. And you see that Gen is right here is kind of the moment where he's shoving himself over to kind of Senku's side. He realizes that this is what they're going to do, And I like this. Now, he might still betray them. Gen is clearly a very shady character. He was awakened by Tsukasa. He does still work for the Kingdom of Might. So, trusting him is still going to take some time, but we see Gen's absolute, he might even say, okay, well, if I can figure, I know exactly what he's done, he's watched the process, he can bring this concept back to Tsukasa, and then they'll be matched, So you kind of have to worry about what Gen's true motives are going to be. Is he truly going to turn over to the Kingdom of Science, or is he going to be still a double agent for the Kingdom of Might? Hard to say. But that's basically episode 9, guys. What did you guys think? I really liked it. Once again, as an electrician, this stuff exhilarates me 10 billion %. So I'm always excited to see these type of things. Being an electrician, it's my job. So, but that being said, what did you guys think of the episode? I really liked it. But like, comment, subscribe down below. Tell me your guys' thoughts. It's always appreciated, all that stuff. This has been Griever with your Dr. Stone episode 9 review. We will see you back here next time, probably in the next couple of days. I'll probably release the episode 10 one in 2 days or so. I'll schedule it just in case, as I said, Hurricane Dorian might lose power sort of idea, but I'll be sure to, schedule the episode 10 review in the next couple of days and make sure that that's out too. So thanks, guys, for watching. We'll see you next time. Peace.